Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
What is and what should never be? Look it up. Lyrically speaking, musically speaking, one of the greatest tracks of our lifetime. Right? Began underground in the bowels of London, and then certainly was huge here in the States. I want to say that's Led Zeppelin 2, right? Catch the wind, see us spin, sail away, leave today. Way up high in the sky, but the wind don't blow. You really shouldn't go. It only goes to show that you will be mine by taking our time. Man, that's deep. That really is. That's Robert Plant. That's Jimmy Page. That's the late John Bonham, although they did not, Bonzo didn't figure into the lyrics. Neither did maybe the greatest bassist of all time, John Paul Jones. Still. I think we talked about Bad Company last week and how every song was about love and making love. And that kept them out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Zeppelin, they're deep, but it's all about sex and drugs and just a tiny bit of rock and roll. All right, no shortage of emotion right now in North Florida. My goodness. Either really, really up, really, really down. Again, what is and what should never be applies. Trevor Lawrence goes down, you can hear a pin drop. I mean, what happened? Walker Little gets blown back by Ted Hendrickson. Apparently Parker Washington, who all of a sudden is forced to play because Christian Kirk goes out with a core injury. You're already without your backup slot man and Jamal Agnew, and Parker Washington, a guy who returned both kicks and punts at Penn State, a fifth-round draft pick. All right, you're asking him to basically fair catch punts, right? And maybe here and there return one. All of a sudden, he becomes a huge part of this game. He did drop a punt, fell on it, caught 6 passes, including his first ever pass reception in the NFL, his first ever touchdown, which if you look at that and you go back on it, it's pretty amazing. I think that folks are like, man, he kept his body in, and he did. He kept several parts of his body in, but it's amazing to me that the defensive player, I think his last name was Hill, had 2 mitts on it, and it didn't really change the trajectory of the ball. I mean, he got both paws on that Trevor Lawrence pass, and it went right through his hands. This wasn't like Asante Samuel in the Super Bowl. In the very next play, David Tyree caught that pass from, Eli Manning, and I referenced that last week. The Keon Coleman drop in the end zone at Florida, in my opinion, was identical to the Asante Samuel drop. People forget, though, and I get it. I mean, you got your lives, you got a lot of stuff going on. You remember what you're going to want to remember. Everyone's going to remember the David Tyree reception. They're not going to remember by rule that Eli Manning was in the grasp. They're not going to remember the play before that Asante Samuel was, in fact, in a position to put the game away, but did not catch an interception. That wasn't the case last night. This just somehow hit his thumbs, his index finger, and just slid right through. And Parker Washington cut it. So anyway, a great night, but youth came in last night, offensively, defensively. Offensively, apparently, and let's see if let's run this, JJ, part number 4 today from Doug Peterson, just talking about the overall miscommunication on the play where Trevor Lawrence was injured.
Miscommunication with Parker and the decision he had with his route. There was a defender outside of him, defender inside of him, and he was kind of caught in between. And it's just a young player that hasn't had a lot of time yet and a lot of reps out there, and just an indecisive decision on Parker's part in that particular case. Something that he'll learn from and get better. And unfortunately, it ended up with with Trevor being injured.
I'd heard that last night. I actually heard it with a couple of reporters talking, kind of jumped into it, and I still went out and asked Doug Peterson about Parker Washington after last night's loss. But I think this is a big part of football that gets discussed and then it's kind of swept under the rug, right? It only gets magnified with quarterbacks, or it only gets magnified with first-round picks, okay? Trayvon Walker not getting to the quarterback last year. This year, he's gotten better this year. That is going to be talked about ad nauseum. Anton Harrison, what a terrible call on that holding. I mean, once again, it's hard to watch games nowadays and not have the officiating, right or wrong, end up being a major factor in just about every game that we watch. I mean, look at that Kansas City Green Bay game. the non-call there. Look at the missed call in Alabama, Georgia on, you have a 29-game win streak for Georgia, and the ball's clearly touching the field. And once again, but that's the life we live in. They're not perfect. They're not trying to get it wrong. They're not paid off. They're not part of a collusion. It's a tough job. It's just awful when I think there's the lack of consistency on holding or lack of consistency on pass interference. You're either going to call it, you're not going to call it. The Florida State-Louisville game, they didn't call it. They let them play, okay? And it's like a strike zone in Major League Baseball. If you're given a pitch that's high and it's right there, on the top part of the box, but you're consistent with that all night long, you can't all of a sudden in the ninth inning not make the same call. And I think that is what frustrates so many people when it comes to calls that have been consistent for 3.5 quarters. Can you all of a sudden just flip the switch? I mean, just an awful call there on Anton Harrison. But anyway, my point here is for guys who are not in the first round. They're guys who were kind of thrown into it. Parker Washington was thrown into this. I've heard a little bit of, not a lot, but there's been some that have put him on blast today. I'm not saying here. I'm saying, on the mean streets of Twitter and what have you. I don't even look at message boards anymore. I don't even know if the Jaguars have message boards. If so, I'm unaware of it. I think Twitter and
I think Reddit's become the message board.
Reddit?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it any good?
I'm not on there, but it has a pretty good Jaguar following on there.
I promised myself about a decade ago that I would leave message boards, and it was for one reason and one reason only. We see it here night after night on our text line. What I say and what you hear is two totally different things. I get called out every show about something that I said, but JJ and I will laugh because there will be times where someone will take something that I absolutely didn't say and play it back to us as if I did say it. At least that's one-on-one contact, and you're reaching us, so I have an opportunity to tell you to go back and listen, or I did not say it that way. You get the message board. Someone drops something. You see it a couple days later or a week later. So it became frustrating. So I just said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to simply avoid them. And I don't even know if they're popular
So
anymore.
You weren't like Knowles fan 69, like defending yourself?
No, when they first came out, when they first came in, yes, but I just...
God, I loved college football message boards back in the day.
I don't know. I just felt like...
Brings me back.
There was so much nonsense. There was so many shots that were taken by people that would never say that to you one-on-one. Or
Yeah, those people have just moved to Twitter.
Yeah,
They're still around.
But at least for the most part on Twitter, it is directed to you.
Oh yeah,
Now,
instead of just vague to the whole.
Now I don't
community.
even know because I'm not technically sound. Okay, I don't even know if there's a way to search and if so, don't tell me because I don't want to know. I would never go in search of what are people saying about what I said, and that's kind of message board stuff, right? If you want to reach me directly, that's a totally different world. But anyway, Parker Washington's received a little bit of heat today, and I'm like, he's a 5th round pick. They just threw this guy in there, and then you go to the other side of the field, and Doug Peterson's. It was one of the most incredible reactions I've ever seen, and for me, it was the second most interesting reaction that I've seen Doug Peterson be a part of this year. The first one was after the loss against Houston when he literally opened his mouth, and for 4 or 5 seconds, nothing came out. And I can only imagine what was going on throughout his entire brain during that particular time. I think actually, I don't know what he wanted to do, but it felt like, okay, it felt like we're going to get a little bit of a Parcells. Well, if you want this thing to work the way it's supposed to work, then we need better players. But it never came out. He stood true to it, defended everything, but it was still awkward. Last night with the crowd was really, really, really bizarre. And for those who aren't in the know, Gregory Jr. last night was lost. He was not aware of what to do when Cincinnati ran a bunch of motion with their offense. And they continued to do that because it was creating fits for the Jaguars, who were just terrible on defense last night. I mean, Cincinnati came in with the worst rushing offense in the NFL, 32nd in pro football. And they ran the football right down Jacksonville's throat. Jacksonville was 4th against the run before last night's game. And again, you can maybe cook those books a little bit in Jacksonville's way because Jacksonville's had a lot of leads. They forced teams in the second half to be primarily pass and just a little bit of run. So, yeah, if you want to argue that point, I'll listen to you. But still, they in the ditch last night. They were incredibly physical. But with their motion offense and watching what Browning was doing, he also had a huge night. So, again, you got young players out there, first and second year combination nickels, and in the case of Antonio Johnson, a safety. So Gregory Jr., all right? Here's my whole point about this. Here's 2 examples. Parker Washington, Gregory Jr. Lost. Miscommunication. Not mentally prepared, okay? This is their full-time job. It doesn't matter. We talk about this all the time in college with a freshman, right? But we very easily leave it alone in the NFL game unless it's a quarterback or unless it's a first-round pick. And this year, that has not been the case. Tank Bigsby has gotten lit up. The whole thing on Brenton Strange has kind of been unusual. Yasir Abdullah had opportunities in the first month of the season. He's been inactive since. That was the best Jacksonville could do to really aid their pass rush after losing Arden Key, was to go out and get a 5th-round guy who's not even dressing on game day. Now you're talking about late-round picks this year and last year. If you look at Antonio Johnson, Parker Washington, and Gregory Jr., it reared its ugly head last night in a loss. And the best part of all this, are you ready? Here we go. Time for the obligatory. The eye test last night will tell you that it was not a good game at all for Gregory Jr. Enter Pro Football Focus. The second highest rated Jacksonville Jaguar player, period. Not offense and defense, period. Gregory Jr. at 82.2 during his 37 snaps. I don't know why I go to this every week. It drives me absolutely crazy. who knows what in the hell the folks at Pro Football Focus are actually watching. But there you have it. On the other side, every once in a while you're like, okay, I see that. The grades of the offensive linemen were just awful. Jacksonville cannot run the football right now. That's a big problem. And when you lose your quarterback, that becomes a massive problem. Anyway, where I wanted to go with this is this could have been devastating. This could have been season ending. And yeah, there would have been a cry and a rallying of the troops and we can get there and we believe in C.J. Beathard. I mean, there would have been a calling. And frankly, the schedule's not hard. Okay, you're the only team in the NFL that is yet to lose on the road. Certainly love the opportunity at Tampa, at Tennessee. Okay, I think Tennessee will be out of it clearly by then, especially after what happened this weekend. Victories by both Indianapolis as well as Houston. Love the chances at home here against Carolina. So realistically, can you win one of the next two? Can you win at Cleveland on the road where it looks like it's not going to be Trevor Lawrence? Can you win here on a Sunday night, again, another nationally televised game against Baltimore? Well, you take them week to week, but it's not murderer's row. Okay, what I'm getting at here is I honestly think with C.J. Beathard, you can go 3-2 or 4-1 if he was your quarterback the next 5 weeks. Now, the goal all along, and it was the goal going into last night. If you won that game, it would have been about getting the top seed, being the team that gets a bye in the AFC, being able to host football games here throughout the entire playoffs. Are those dreams gone? Perhaps. You're not going to rush back Trevor Lawrence. That much we know. Let's get back to Doug Peterson. One more comment here before we take our first break of the night. Let's get to number two. This is again more on Doug Peterson today, talking about the injury with Trevor Lawrence and now the preparation for C.J. Beathard.
No, it's good. It's good to get C.J. A full week of preparation. Obviously, Trevor will stay mentally sharp and obviously see where he's at. But to give C.J. the time this week with the offense, with Luke Fortner, with the center quarterback stuff and working with the running backs, it'd be good. It'll be good for CJ. And otherwise, I thought, last night CJ filled in nicely.
First of all, I got to say this. I did not know there were so many doctors in Jacksonville. Everyone from my neighbor to the mailman to it just doesn't matter. I mean, everyone's a doctor. And everyone could look at it and say, oh, he rolled it. That's grade 1. He's out 3 to 6. No, that's grade 2. He's going to be out 1 to 3, or vice versa. Again, I'm not a doctor. And I'm not even going to try to play one on the radio, but it was amazing last night. It was insane, okay? Just watching the rollback, then the fall on. It was a combination ankle injury. But immediately, it's like, come on, man, everyone's bones are different. Everyone's ligaments are different. It's not necessarily about pain tolerance. Trevor Lawrence is a tough guy. These are all tough guys. It's about what you can and what you cannot do. It's not going to come down to whether or not Trevor Lawrence is feeling pain or not. There's ways around that. See your doctor. The other side is, and the most important part is, where's his push? Where's his burst? Where's his ability to stick the foot in the ground? Where's his ability to tuck and run? Where's his ability to avoid the pocket, okay, which has been a really poor offensive line? It remains the biggest problem with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't have any idea. I've been asked 100 times, when's he going to come back? I don't know. My guess is not a prayer this Sunday. Not a prayer. I'm sure Trevor Lawrence would love to play against Baltimore a week from Sunday night here under the lights. Is he going to play? I don't know. Everyone is different. And you're just going to have to take this on a week-to-week basis. I mean, look at the last two teams. You just took on Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. Look at that performance by Jake Browning. Now you're going into Cleveland where Joe Flacco was the starting quarterback last week. They just got him off the couch. He was your starter in Los Angeles. And that's going to be your matchup this weekend. A C.J. Beathard, Joe Flacco game. Important for both teams. Cleveland trying to hang on to a wild card spot. Obviously, the Jaguars with a one-game lead in the AFC South, but still trying to get home field, whether it's the overall top bye or at least, a week one home playoff game. So a ton to do, and we're going to discuss that throughout here as we get things started on this Tuesday edition. All right, as always, you can get involved with the program. Jaguar fans, we'll grab some calls tonight, 641-1010. But I mean, it could be so much worse. So just stop for a minute and tell yourself that, okay? It could be so much worse. Just for 10 seconds, imagine if it came down that he was gone for the year last night, like what happened in Cleveland and like what happened in Cincinnati, okay? Just imagine that. That's not the case. You may miss him for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You may miss him for 5 weeks. You may not get him back into the playoffs. But at least he is coming back, and you know that this is a playoff team. So it could be a heck of a lot worse than it actually is. 641-1010 on the text line. You can also, we'll take some Jag calls tonight, 641-1010. Opening comments brought to you by Shmunez Vision. All right, family organization. They focus on personal, high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Located out at the beach. Combined, if you add Dr. Catherine Shmunez, that's more than 30 years in laser eye surgery experience. All right? And the older we get, whether it's your cornea, whether it's issues with cataract, it's just something that comes up again and again and again. So regardless of what it may be, if it involves you, your kids, your grandparents, whomever, check them out today. Just go to shmunezvision.com. That is their website, shmunezvision.com. All right, we got plenty to do tonight. We're going to roll till 10 right here on a Wednesday. Make that a Tuesday edition. Tomorrow night, we're with you. 6 to 8, that's the deal as well. Thursday and Friday.
Me? Emotional during a Jags game? Yeah, sounds about right. I'm E.T. Listen to my instant reactions powered by Brackish Vodka on all 1010XL social media channels.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
It's the most intense friendly rivalry in all of sport. Army-Navy.
What's at stake is the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
Listen for Army-Navy Moments.
Brought to you by Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters on 1010XL.
Ballou here for Shmunez Vision. Why Shmunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Shmunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Shmunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Shmunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit shmunezvision.com today. Care you can see.
Eggnog in the carpet, wine on the sofa, dingy-looking tile and grout, no problem. Call Zero Res. Zero Res technicians are cleaning freaks. Over 5,000 five-star customer reviews. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
So I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $30,000 a year and right now graduate making over $80,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition and no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted into the program, your only costs are the books and the course fees, around $700 a year.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Risa, a prescription-only 150-milligram injection for adults. Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, it's Carline here for QC Kinetics. Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year you are getting back to living normal life again. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. 2 great locations, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Give them a call at 904-274-5522. Again, 274-5522. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These are all natural treatments that can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement again. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country. People who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who were able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Again, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Give them a call, 904-274-5522. That's QC Kinetics, 274-5522.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Salvatore's Pizza coming to Jacksonville. Salvatores.com.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Mm-hmm. Such a sweet melody. And the perfect song to take the stroll to. Just beware, Johns. That's a tough sting. I mean, good luck talking your way out of that. Although, regardless of what you said, I bet it would be better than what Boo Corrigan said. Just my opinion. I am, by the way, making a public statement tonight. Okay, as you know, we are with you make that 6 to 8, 4 nights a week. Tonight we come on after the ladies of helmets and heels. I'm not going to really get into the college football playoff and the Florida State angst tonight. I'm just not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's already 8:30. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it tomorrow at 6. And I've thought about it, talked to JJ about it. Not to say I don't value this audience. I do. But I just – the Jaguars right now are the most important story. The injury to Trevor Lawrence right now is the most important story. And the NFL gets it right. Whether you like it or not, they play the games on the field. And you have devastating injuries. If Trevor Lawrence had gotten knocked out last night and his season was over, guess what? The Jaguars still have 5 games to play. The Jaguars still go to the playoffs. Okay? That's the league that we love. College football is always going to be clouded with controversy. And there's a ton this year. But I know so much more than, I'm not saying my colleagues. I know so much more. And there's so many fingers being pointed here. You're still missing a couple of really big issues that have not been reported, that have been buried. And a lot of it is on Florida State themselves. And it involves the incredible, asinine work by the BOT, okay, by their Board of Trustees, to publicly come out, and state that they're better than the ACC. They set this up themselves for them to fall. They never believed that Florida State would have an undefeated season. If so, Drew Weatherford and the chair and the Board of Trustees wouldn't have publicly come out and ripped the ACC, asked out of the grant of rights, where they didn't even have a landing partnership. They didn't even know what particular conference. So that's just a little part of it. But that right there, I'm guessing a lot of you haven't been told. A lot of you aren't aware of. And it goes much deeper than that. And there's a lot of things. Propaganda, conspiracy. I mean, so many things that have happened here that are ignored. And I'm going to get to it. And it's going to be incredibly thorough. I know some of you can say, you're still complaining about this? Well, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. I didn't have a show last night with Monday Night Football. Tonight I come on later. I'm going to do it tomorrow night at 6. And I'm already fired up for it. Not as fired up as for Brandon, however, who was first up tonight on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Welcome.
Good evening. How you doing tonight?
What's going on?
Nothing much. My only concern, well, it was really hurtful to see Trevor go down. When I saw it last night, my jaw dropped, especially with the whole Florida State incident, how that happened, how it had me feeling, and then seeing Trevor go down. But my only issue was it a reason, do you know the reason why they didn't bring the cart out? Because watching him walk through the tunnel last night, that hurt even worse, you know, him putting all that weight on. Do you know if there's a reason why they didn't bring the cart out last night? That kind of just hurt watching him walking through the tunnel. And I'll just let you answer that.
All right, Brandon, thank you. You know, that's interesting because I know both those gentlemen really well. And I talked with Mike, who heads that up last night. We talked all about the injury, but I never thought to ask about the cart. I just didn't. And, you know, I'll send a text off right now. I better get an answer in minutes. My guess is that he said he didn't need a cart. I didn't even think to ask that. I asked so many different questions last night and was in conversations with other members of the media about this and about that. And
There's
what have
people
you.
that are tweeting that were on the sideline that said I guess he wanted to walk.
Okay, yeah, that would be my guess.
To me, I think the medical staff should be like, I don't care what you want to do.
Hey, Brandon, what do you think? I'm still the sideline reporter?
Yeah. Ask Bucky Brooks. Call his show, Brandon.
Hey,
Jeez.
man, you know, what do you think?
But no, I think that it is the responsibility of the medical professionals to be like, dude, just sit down in the damn cart. Let us drive you. Because he also apparently walked the whole length of the field back the other way towards wherever the medical room is.
Yeah.
He went through the opposite tunnel. It was weird.
Yeah, I
Cowherd
never
took
saw
shots at him for that today, but I saw all Jacksonville going to defend him, clutching their pearls. Oh my God! Talking about this organization, this city, we must defend them. It was weird.
Yeah. I really didn't even think that much about it.
I was like,
Cowherd was taking shots at him?
Cowherd.
Oh.
I was like, can somebody get Christian Kirk a cart?
Yeah.
He looked way worse. I mean, he was hobbling too.
And he goes down, and, I'm thinking, my first reaction is I hope it's wind.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was sitting next to Coach Campo and Lauren Brooks, and I said, man, I hope it's wind. And then all of a sudden, it appears it's not wind. Then,
I thought it was like a separated shoulder.
Yeah, then you think it's a growing, and apparently it is. But now you get into that core injury, and again, I mean, the core injury, man, Brandon Sheriff played with that all last year. He had hernia surgery, after the season. Apparently surgery's coming here today. As a matter of fact, we have these are all Trevor. Actually, last night he did not know. I have his comments from Doug Peterson last night, and at that particular point, he wasn't aware of it. But anyway, Peterson did go on to say that. Let me see if I can find that for you. Here we go right here, if you're wondering. This is exactly what Doug Peterson said today involved with Christian Kirk, and I quote, Christian has a core muscle injury, and he's going to miss some time. He'll be out. I believe he'll need surgery. We're going to send the images off to get another look at it, make sure we have the right diagnosis and the right plan of attack for Christian moving forward.
That sucks.
It is. He's putting up huge numbers, incentive-laden numbers with receptions and yards. And, it was one of those freak injuries, too, where I don't want to say there was no – well, there was. It was basically, he was avoiding guys, but
looked like a normal play.
Well, difficult, no doubt. Harry, sorry there.
I was just about to say my Kirk over Ridley for yards this season. I was feeling very confident about that pick. Now, not so much.
Before I bring Harry on, let me take a quick peek here. I gave out 2 all year. I gave out the Jaguars winning the AFC South. Oh, boy. I mean, they only got 1-game lead now with 5 to go after this injury. I mean, this division's playing a lot better than I thought that they would.
What's the tiebreaker after head-to-head? Is it
conference?
Just conference, not in division record.
I believe it's conference. Okay. Yeah. So I had Jaguars to win the AFC South, and then I had one other bet, and that was Travis Etienne over 42 receptions, 41 and a half, actually. Travis Etienne is at 40 right now.
Oh.
So, yeah, but he's had a chest issue. I mean, look at last night's game. Devon Hamilton's a healthy scratch. You bring him back. You bring back Tyson Campbell for the first time in 5 weeks, and then, bam, you lose Christian Kirk. You lose Trey Herndon. You lose Trevor Lawrence. Andre Sisco goes out with a shoulder. He comes back. Big Foley goes out with, I've seen both a toe and a heel contusion. Doug Peterson described it more as the latter. Did I miss anyone? Walker Little. I mean, this was, I did tweet this last night. All the years that I spent as the Jaguars team sideline reporter, I don't ever remember a game like this. They just kept going down and down and down. And obviously that'll crush a team. Doesn't matter who you are.
And
it's
isn't
a battle
it always,
of attrition.
Isn't it always the games where you expect them to roll through? Like the Jordan Travis injury. It's always those games, man.
It is.
It's never like Florida versus Florida State. It wasn't the Jags versus the Chiefs. It was a game where you just expected the Jags to roll over them.
For the most part, yeah. Nick Foles, on the play, he threw the touchdown.
Yeah,
that was
true.
against the Chiefs. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It seems like
When you least expect it.
That's when it happens. Harry, you were next up. Welcome.
Yeah, hey, I wanted to touch what the other guy was saying about the cart. The medical should have had overrided him and said, look, you need because they showed him walking in the tunnel, and he was grimacing. I thought he was going to keel over. He had so much pain and everything, and I just hope I'm worried about the offensive line too, getting it back together, because if they don't get it together, that's even going to be that's going to be still an existing problem. Enjoy your guys' program. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care. And it's always been my biggest problem. I've been hollering about the offensive line. Longtime listeners can appreciate that, simply because it's easy now to say, oh, yeah. But I've always been all over this. You can never have enough offensive linemen. Walker Little can't go this weekend? Oh, my God. I mean, you're already without Cam. Now you're without Walker Little. But I think the defense, and again, and that's why I basically started with it tonight, is I think in the building, what you're hearing is, well, that's not on the offensive line. It's not on the offensive line because Walker Little did his job. Parker Washington was supposed to run a quick out, and instead he kept running downfield. So Trevor hung on to the football too long as opposed to getting rid of it when he should. That's being used, whether you agree with that, and that's why I started with a fifth-round rookie. I mean, you go to a bar room right now, and you talk to, Harry the Ham and Egger and Joe Sixpack, and you buy a round. They say, how about Parker Washington last time? Man, he had a great game. 6 balls, 6 receptions, 6 for 6.
You're like, but touchdown. He almost killed Trevor.
And then, 1 out of every 10 Jaguar fans who are going to listen to this, and I'm not calling it propaganda. I'm not saying the guy should be torn up for it, but there are some out there like, why didn't he know the play? It's his full-time job, right? I mean, it's his full-time job. He ran the wrong route. Your star quarterback held on to the ball. Same thing on defense with Gregory Jr. Lost into the motion offense, to the point where did Doug Peterson, I was going to say, did you really say it? Of course he said it. I was sitting right there when he said it. I've never heard anyone complain about the crowd being loud on defense.
You want to play that?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, this was from yesterday after the game.
Well, I mean, listen, if you're on the field, were you on the field?
No.
Could you hear the crowd?
Yeah, I could hear it.
No.
What do you mean?
If you're on the field and the crowd, as loud as they are when we're on defense, we have to reiterate communication, and that's all it is. It's just double checking with everybody. It's not communication issues. It's just being able to communicate the calls effectively. So there's a lot of talk that has to go back and forth because of the way the crowd was great today, and that's what you want. And it does kind of, put your defense in a little bit of a bind because of that, right? No different than the offense going into an environment that's very loud. Communication, I wouldn't say they're issues. They're just, you just got to over communicate.
Oh boy.
Dumbest excuse I've ever heard. Don't you think offense is having a worse time of it than you guys?
I was sitting right next to Demetrius Harvey at the Florida Times Union when he asked that question. And when Doug's like, what do you mean? And they kind of went back and forth. And when he started talking about that, I thought he was wrong and that he was talking about offense. I was like, there's no way. I kept saying to myself, what? I'm like, there is no way. No way. I mean, we just went through Danny Cannell saying that, people are laying out blankets and sipping wine at home games and that this team's going to London. They don't have a ravishing crowd and then all of a sudden your head coach is like, yeah, you guys are a little bit too loud. We go on. I'm just sitting here saying to myself, is this really happening right now? And by the way, I'm a huge Doug Peterson guy. Monumental mistake. monumental mistake. There's no other way to say it. It's really, really bad. Since you have been still filling up your diaper, your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your grandma, the fat drunk uncle, the auntie who doesn't even care, doesn't even know who's playing, but she's baking cookies. Everyone's like, forever. It's make noise when you're on defense. And now you've got your nickel corner who can't figure out what to do because they're running some motion which they were either unprepared for or he's asleep during team meetings. And the crowd's too loud? Get me out of this one in 3, 2, 1.
Game day prep starts 5 hours before kickoff. We'll fill you in with Hayes Carline and Mia O'Brien, the famous automotive tire and quick lube kickoff show. Presented by Gatorade Fast Twitch and Clearwater Irrigation on 1010XL.
Looking for the perfect stocking stuffer? How about the Blue Crab Crab House? Right now, buy a $50 gift card, you get $15 free. $50 gives you an additional $15. Also sign up. The private dining room is available for you. Call them 260-CRAB for all the details. Tuesday through Saturday, 4:30 to 9. Sunday, noon to 9. Only at the Blue Crab Crab House right off of San Jose, Jointon Creek Road.
You know that leaky faucet you've put a pail or towel down to catch the drips? Well, imagine that leak when your family comes over for the holidays, using the faucet over and over and over. Avoid holiday floods with a call to Duck Duck Rooter today. Duck Duck Rooter will come and resolve those dripping faucets and leaky pipes so you can enjoy a hassle-free holiday season. Call 904-862-6769. Visit duckduckrooter.com.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
If you're looking for exterior solutions that provide you reliability and durability, it's time to call Armor Guard Exteriors. Whether you need seamless gutters or gutter protection, hurricane products, impact windows, glass lanais, or retractable awnings and screens, we've got you covered. Call My Home Team today for your 5-star experience at 904-906-8669.
Armor Guard Exteriors, committed to quality, and that's a promise.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 5th, 1978, free agent Pete Rose signs a 4-year, $32 million contract with the Phillies to become the highest-paid baseball player.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Want even more excitement on game day? Then test your skills at PrizePicks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick their projection for a wide variety of statistics, and place your entry. Simple. You can turn $10 into $250 just like that. With pro and college basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections from the Specials League. For example, this week I have Dallas quarterback Dak Prescott to throw for less than 281.5 yards against Seattle, and Lakers big man Anthony Davis to score more than 23.5 points against Detroit. Now listen to this. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy, so your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. Take your game day experience to the next level with PrizePicks. And right now, when you go to PrizePicks.com/1010XL and use the promo code 1010XL, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. That's right, $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time homebuyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time homebuyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time homebuyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. That's 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
The Army-Navy Game Watch Party is presented by the City of Jacksonville Military Affairs and Veterans Department. Watch on the world's largest screens with a kids zone and free admission or donation. Gates open at 2 for the Army-Navy Game Watch Party at Everbank Stadium.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tomorrow, take my hand, child, come with me. It's to a castle I will take you, where what's to be, they say, will be.
Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, coming up, hour number 2, we're going to get back to the Jaguars. We're going to grab your phone calls. Jaguars only, 641-1010, also 641-1010 on the text line. This is really a beaten-up team. We're going to go through that a little bit. And unfortunately, now they have a short week and got to go to a difficult place to play, Cleveland. You know, you just look at the NFL, and I do all the time, and crazy things happen, okay? They play the games in this league. You have things happen like Green Bay knock off Detroit on Thanksgiving, Green Bay knocking off Kansas City. All right, Cleveland, it's felt like for a while that it's a 4-foot uphill putt with no break. And you're on it and you got it. Well, they're a 7-5 football team. Okay, they're 5-1 at home. Jacksonville remains the only team on the planet who is not lost outside of Jacksonville. Okay, they've won 7 ball games out of Duval. That's going to end. It's just going to end. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It doesn't work that way. Okay? I mean, they've won every game away. And, you know, they've won 9 straight regular season away games. If you include the last 3 that they won last year, I'm not counting the playoff loss. I'm talking about regular season games. So there's always different ways to look at things. And I know people, well, every game's a different game, and yes. But, yeah, this line is completely flipped after the Trevor Lawrence injury. It's flipped sides, and I got to believe that more and more money is coming in right now on Cleveland. But, you know, we will take a look at that during the second hour. And the injuries is the biggest problem right now for the Jaguars. The issue next to that, what about this rushing attack? It has been non-existent for the last 3 weeks. I mean, just look at the numbers last night. It was actually the best out of the last 3 games for Travis Etienne if you look at his average per, but still, 11 carries, 45 yards, an average of 4.1. I interviewed Dearness Johnson last week, played it for you, still think he can really help out. This man did not have a chance on 2 of his 5 carries. He was completely swallowed up like into his second step after being handed the football from either Trevor or CJ. Defenses knew that he was getting the ball, and he got crushed. He ended up with 5 carries for 4 yards. Hey, I'm not a D'Ernest Johnson apologist. I'm not. I'm spitting out straight facts. He didn't have a chance last night. They knew he was getting the ball. So you add all this up, you're talking about the Jaguar running backs. 16 carries, 49 yards. This is a big-time issue right now with this football team. I do not believe they are going to go deep into the playoffs unless something happens. Right now you have Travis Etienne averaging 3.8 yards a carry. He's got 205 for the year, and he's got a chest rib issue. He's not 100%. Tank Bigsby did not get a carry last night. He was in for 2 plays, quarterback sneaks. His average per carry is 2.4. D'Ernest Johnson, 31 carries, 90 yards. His average on the year, 2.9. They're trying reverses with wide receivers. What, Ridley last night? Let's see here. Ridley had 3 carries for 7 yards. Beathard had 1 carry for 7 yards. Trevor, 5 for 8. I appreciate and respect that they haven't abandoned the run. In the last 3 weeks, 25 rushing carries, 25 rushing attempts last night, 39 passing attempts. That is a little bit more one-sided to the pass game. Last 2 weeks, they had 30 rushes. The week prior to that, they had 36 rushes. 25 still not bad. I'd like to see it around 30. But at least they haven't abandoned running the football. They're just not having any success running the football. It's pretty simple. I mean, teams are saying, you're going to have to beat us by throwing the ball. You're not going to beat us on the ground. We're going to eat you up. We're going to eat up that interior offensive line. And again, Pro Football Focus, you can do whatever you want, and you can grade any way you want. Your eyes, the eye test. Jacksonville could not run the football between the tackles last night. And that's a terrible rushing defense in Cincinnati. They just ate them up. Let's get ready for our second hour. I don't know what this organization is going to do with this offensive line in 2024. I know a lot of you don't want to think about that now, and I get it. You got 5 games remaining in the playoffs. Luke Fortner is getting pushed around. Ezra Cleveland last night didn't look to me like, hey, let's get this guy re-signed right now. Maybe he'll give us a hometown discount. He didn't look that. The 3 lowest rated Jaguar players last night, according to Pro Football Focus, Brandon Sheriff, a 37. A 37. Luke Fortner, a 51.8, which is actually high for him. He's consistently in the 48s. Ezra Cleveland, 54.5. How can you run? Your right guard, your center, and your left guard are your 3 lowest ranked Pro Football Focus numbers. You can't run the ball. So, and now you've got Walker Little, who's hurt. And what about the confidence of your right tackle? They throw that horse crap flag on him. I mean, what an indictment to a man's psyche. I don't care who you are or who you rooted for or who you were betting on or if you were playing the over or the under. I mean, you cannot look at that call last night and say that was the right call. Anton Harrison got absolutely screwed. Jaguar fans got screwed on that call. There's no other way to say it. Yeah. That officiating. And I watched it the night before with Green Bay and in Kansas City, man. I just, God, the officiating's bad. It's just really, really, really bad. It's like, when's the last time you've watched a game where it doesn't come into play? It does, and sometimes it works incredibly for you, and then other times it works just god-awful against you. And I think that's going to be the case. I do. I think you'll see it come rear its ugly head during these college football playoff games. I think it will come and rear its ugly head during the NFL playoff games. And we all remember Miles Jack wasn't down, but it seems like it's unavoidable on a week-to-week basis, affecting games each and every Saturday and Sunday. All right, let's get back to our second hour. Jag fans, best way to get us is the text line. That's 641-1010. You can also get us on, we'll take some phone calls, 641-1010. I love this. Ballou, the Noles would have gotten in if Deion Sanders was the coach. Okay. I believe you. I believe they would have gotten in because of all the love and all the attention that Deion Sanders would have gotten. But there's no way Deion Sanders and this football team would have gone 13-0.
High school, college, and pro.
As good as it gets.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Salvatore's Pizza coming to Jacksonville. Salvatores.com.
Hey folks, if you want to add value to your home without breaking the piggy bank, Shark Coatings offers multiple finance options to meet your budget. Like a smaller garage for as low as $45 per month, or a standard 2-car garage around $58 a month. And a 4-car driveway with a walkway is only $82 a month. Of course, each property is unique and our design consultants can give you exact pricing for your project. But here's a way to only spend a little each month for the Shark Coatings your concrete floors need now. Shark Coatings, we're ready when you are.
Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I've got an Awaken 180 update that you may not believe. I'm 4 weeks into the Awaken 180 program and down 23 pounds. 23 pounds in 1 month. You might be thinking, well, the holiday season has arrived. Now what? Well, I'm not sweating it because over Thanksgiving week, at a time when most are loosening their belt, I dropped 6 pounds. That's right, 6 pounds. Awaken 180 is just stupid easy. Who knew you could enjoy the holidays and still lose weight while eating and drinking and being merry? That's the beauty of Awaken 180. It seamlessly fits into your life, even during holidays, parties, vacations, you name it. If you're looking for real change, give yourself the gift that lasts a lifetime. You looking in the mirror, happy, healthy, after dropping the weight, holding you back with the #1 solution for weight loss, Awaken 180. Do what I did and call Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jag.
Golfers, when's the last time you played Cimarron? New ownership, improved greens, fairways, and tee boxes, a new clubhouse, interior, exterior, including the Stone and Barrel Tap House, indoor-outdoor bar, live music. Practice, learn, and play program is only $59 a month, unlimited range balls, weekly clinic from teaching professionals. Golf every day, $25 after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
Home of the Jaguars, WJXL-FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you have a slow-draining sink or toilet that sounds like it's about to back up, imagine the potential plumbing emergency when you have family over for the holidays. Flush after flush after flush. Avoid holiday clogs with a call to Duck Duck Rooter today. Duck Duck Rooter will come and resolve those plumbing issues so you can enjoy a free-flowing holiday season. Call 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com.
Men suffering from ED or PE, You'll see instant results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center. For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. You'll even get a gift that enhances performance in the bedroom. Call 904-664-8217.
So I have been in the operating room most of my career, watching people have orthopedic surgery, watching people get knees replaced, hips replaced, shoulders fixed, and I knew there had to be a better way.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a medical director for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain relief.
I see so many people who could have been helped before they got to the operating room if only they had known about regenerative medicine.
QC Kinetics, a natural alternative that uses your body's own healing properties to help restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing long-lasting relief without drugs, surgery, or downtime.
Well, it feels great when I do get to see somebody who we help, who I know I kept out of the operating room. It's amazing how we change people's lives without surgery.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, a lot of angst. It's supposed to be the holiday season, right? A lot of upset people out there. I get it. There's a whole bunch of concern, a bunch of negativity. How about my folks out in Tallahassee tonight? Tallahassee Quarterback Club. You know who their Tuesday night guest speaker was? Come in, sit down, we'll eat a steak, we'll drink some scotch, we'll tell some stories. Guess who their Tuesday night speaker was?
Was it Boo?
It wasn't Boo.
Boo Corrigan.
Almost as bad. Joe Tessitore. The same man who on Saturday night was openly rooting for Louisville to knock off Florida State. In every third play, how about Alabama today knocking off? What about the Texas? I mean, I understand that the Tallahassee Quarterback Club is not affiliated with Florida State. I get that. But don't act like you're flying in dignitaries week after week after week from different places throughout the United States of America to meet in old Tallahassee to bring in such guests as Joe Tessitore. The people live in Tallahassee. The people are Florida State fans. They hand out the Biletnikoff Award. I used to be really close with some members, really good guys, decades That town is aching. In a world where everyone's getting canceled, you pick up the phone and say, Joe Tessitore, your call Saturday night sucked. We'll pay you your $50,000. You can come out here anyway and stay in your beautiful hotel. We'll still give you a steak dinner and a bottle of scotch, but we no longer want to hear from you. And earlier we were talking about message board, tough guys, and texting, and how no one will ever say anything directly to anyone else. How much you want to bet all those old salts tonight in God's country are steaming? You can see the smoke come out of their ears. They're pissed. But you and I both know that what did Joe Tessitore do tonight? He went up there and he totally gaslighted them. He told them exactly what they wanted him to hear. How great Mike Norvell is. How great that defense is. How awful he feels that Florida State got screwed out of the college football playoff. And it just sat back and took it. Unbelievable. Just incredible, man. I mean, if there was ever a time to just say no, this would have been it. 75-36, Ballou, why not give Tank the ball if he's bigger and stronger and can break tackles, and he ran well against Tennessee? He got one carry a week ago for 6 yards. That was a good carry, and they never went back to him. Let me look at the play sheet. I believe he only had 2 carries, and I said that earlier. Yeah, he only had two plays, 2 snaps last night, and they were both on quarterback snaps, or quarterback sneaks. I think they, I think this is a concern for all of these rookies. There doesn't seem to be a whole heck of a lot of faith in rookie players not named Anton Harrison. You got nothing out of Brenton Strange. He's hurt right now. But he had that one big game where he was targeted 3 times, had a couple of receptions and a touchdown. I mean, for the year, I'll look it up. You're a second-round draft pick in a year where you need so much on that offensive line, where you could, it's so frustrating for Jag fans. I get it. Let's see here. Brenton Strange. Guy's played 11 games. He has 4 receptions, 34 yards. Okay. So if you're grading rookies, which is unfair 12 games in, but heck, I'll do it anyway. Anton Harrison, I'm going to give him an A. He's taking on some of the toughest defenders that you can ask for. He would have played a really good game last night if it wasn't for that awful call. Some of you may argue with that grade, but the guy's played almost every snap. And he's going to get better. I'm giving him 2 thumbs up. Brenton Strange, second-round pick, 4 receptions. I'm not going to fail him. But, what did they used to say when the summer years when you would visit your guidance counselor? You, young man, you're just not college material, right? I mean, the guy's caught 4 balls. Tank Bigsby, your 3rd-round pick? Let's 36 carries, 86 yards, a pedestrian. 2.4 per, and he's remembered more for major fumbles and not grabbing that bizarre play, against Indianapolis. That's a D-, minus. 3rd round, I don't have the draft order in front of me. Let me see this here. Draft 2023. But I already talked about, you see, all right, here we go. Ventrell Miller, all right, that one is a given. This was a redshirt year. I see Ventrell every week. He's in good spirits. I talked to him recently before Florida State, Florida, talked before Florida State or Florida, Georgia. He's been injured. They knew that when they drafted him. 5th round, Tyler Lacey. All right, got some early burn, right? I mean, he's been kind of just a guy, hasn't really done too much of anything. Tyler Lacey last night was active. He gave you 3 snaps. All right? And this is in a ball game where they allowed, what did they allow? The worst rushing offense. I'm laughing because I'm pissed. The worst rushing offense in the National Football League, the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? With Jake Browning as their quarterback. Last night, Jake Browning looked like Ken Anderson, for crying out loud. I was going to say he looked like Boomer, but he didn't have long blonde hair, throws left-handed, and is incredibly annoying. Browning, let's see here. Cincinnati last night ran 156 yards rushing. They averaged like 79 coming in. They more than doubled. They were right at their double as far as rushing offense for the season. They did that last night. 5th round pick, Yasir Abdullah, inactive. Your other 5th round pick, Antonio Johnson. Okay, Antonio Johnson last night replaced Gregory Jr. when he had a cramp had a cramping issue. Let's see. Last night, he gave you 19 plays. And again, he graded out very well, according to Pro Football Focus. I actually am a big fan of Antonio Johnson. I think he's going to be a good football player. I do. Parker Washington, we've talked about him ad nauseum. Really good game. Apparently he ran the wrong route during the Trevor injury. Again, he's been on the IR most of the year, came back, is now been returning punts as a sixth-round guy. Okay, that's a decent grade. And you also now have confidence with Kirk out that Washington can actually be a part of this, right? I would think he's been working more with Beathard than he has with Trevor, because that's, more of second team type of offense. So maybe he'll fit in nicely there. That'll be interesting to watch. Braswell and Hallett both cut, right? Or on the practice squads, if you will. Cooper Hodges, IR. Raymond Vahasek. I know he was cut. I wonder if he came back on the practice. I mean, practice squad nowadays is so hard to keep a hold of. There's 16 guys on it. I think he's gone. Yeah, it was Henry Mondu who they brought back, who was not drafted. So, yeah, Vahasek is gone and Derek Parrish is gone. So, that's outside of Anton Harrison, that's really pretty lean. And there is a chance here now, with 5 games remaining, that you really do get some solid play and perhaps, contributions from a 5th-rounder in Antonio Johnson and a 6th-rounder in Parker Washington. That is a chance. 33-73, Ballou, do you think Trevor starts just to keep his streak alive and then they'll take him out after a handoff? No. No. What streak? 46 career starts? No. I'm one of those who does believe that Trevor's really not a stat guy. There are some who are. There are some who totally. Brad Johnson was great. You ever do an interview with Brad Johnson? It was like every interview he'd say, well, I'm 75 and 38 as a starter. And I love Brad. I mean, he was legitimately a guy that I knew when I went to Florida State with him before I got in the media and struck up a friendship with him then. But there are certain guys who are totally aware of what they're doing numbers-wise in all sorts of different sports. There are others who it just doesn't matter. I think that's kind of the case here. Does not even apply. 52-62, Rick, even the great John Riggins wouldn't get a yard with our line. It's fair. John Riggins behind the Hogs. Man, yeah. Jay, I'm trying to talk myself out of this. It's like I don't want to beat people when they're down. But I also have to be realistic. This isn't a Super Bowl team. It's not. You're not strong enough in the ditch. You can't win in this league if you're weak in the ditch. And they've been getting blown off the ball. And defensively last night, they got whipped. They got lit up. I mean, they've kept Devon Hamilton out to apparently get him stronger and to get him ready mentally and physically. Foley's got a toe or a heel. Trayvon Walker made a couple of nice plays, kind of disappeared. I mean, Allen made monumental plays last night. But when you get into playoff football and you're getting into environments where, man, you may be going to Kansas City, you may be going to Baltimore, you may be playing some cold weather football games, particularly with Baltimore, a team that can run the football. And what do you think now offensive coordinators are going to be looking at when Jacksonville was struggling the way that they did with simple motion concepts. It's not like Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals invented a new wave of football last night. They were lost. I am a huge Deshae Townsend fan, the passing game coordinator. Love him. He's infectious. I'll never forget the conversation I had with him a couple of years ago when Jacksonville had 9 takeaways, and he came in. And I asked him about how they could become a team that began to take the football away. And it was a legitimate question. I didn't know the answer to it. I still don't know if I know the answer to it. I mean, do you practice that? Do you practice punching the ball out? Do you practice, hanging on to the ball, picking off a ball? How many times college and pro? Look at the Florida State team. They only turned the ball over 5 times all year. How many times did Florida State have interceptions that they dropped? And Jacksonville was doing that. And I asked Deshae Townsend about it, and he gave me, I can't even paraphrase his answer now, but it was the look in his eye, and I could tell that, like, in a teaching moment, that a man like this is going to make a difference. And Jacksonville went from 9 to 27. What do they have now? 21, 22? With 5 games remaining. And so it has worked. But younger guys are going to struggle. And we noticed that last night. I mean, this is a huge coaching week. An enormous coaching week. Jacksonville can't walk in there and say, oh, my God, Walker Little's out. Oh, my God, Christian Kirk's out. Oh, my God, Trevor Lawrence is out. Oh, my God, Trey Herndon's in the concussion protocol. Oh, my God, Big Foley's got a toe. Oh, my gosh, Gregory Jr.'s got cramps. Oh, my God, Andre Sisco's got a shoulder. Oh, my gosh, Cam Robinson is out again. I mean, you can't do that. You got to teach. And there's going to be more emphasis this week on Gregory Jr. and Antonio Johnson on knowing where in the hell they are supposed to be when you go to Cleveland, if all of a sudden Cleveland goes into a motion offense. And I'm not up to par as much on Cleveland as I should. I usually spend Tuesday looking at the opponent. I didn't after last night with Monday Night Football. I knew it was going to be a disaster getting out of there with the traffic. So you know what I did last night, JJ? I think you'll appreciate this. I knew it was going to take, even after the interviews and all that stuff, I walked out. It was probably 12:30, 12:20. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, you would think the game just ended. The traffic was ridiculous. So that's why I had my GF drop me off, and I said, listen, it's going to take forever. I'm just going to walk over and have some beers, and I'll take an Uber home. So I walk over to Tailgaters, okay? Get over at 12:30. Last call's at 2 o'clock. I'm depressed about Florida State. I'm depressed about Trevor Lawrence. I looked in the mirror. I became even more depressed.
You just slept there.
So I had like 7 or 8 Miller Lights, right? Get an Uber. Guess how much an Uber at 2 a.m. costs to get to my house last night?
Probably because of the game. Like $40.
$96.
No way! What?
96.
Dude,
I live
we
way
were
out.
just talking about the service industry.
Hey, we were talking about the service industry. I'm all up for Uber now. And I tipped this guy, I forget what it was, $25. They get a big tip anyway.
Oh my, that's like, when they pick you up from the airport, they give you a $20, $30 charge on top of that because they know, like, hey, you need us. Nobody gets their friends to pick them up from the airport anymore.
No, and this, truth be told, this is what I envisioned. Okay, got a bunch of buddies. I'm petrified of even sipping a cocktail and getting in my beautiful key GMC Sierra.
Yeah, that'll cost you more than $96.
I will not. Cops don't even bother pulling me over, okay? Because I will not get behind the wheel if I drink. But this is what I envisioned. Jacksonville's going to smoke them. Jacksonville's going to win this game by double digits. They're going to cover. I'm going to meet some cronies in the parking lot. And A, I'll either get a ride home from them, or B, I'll call an Uber.
From Happy Jags fans.
I never expected getting in after overtime, after the interviews, walking out, seeing the whole world packed up in their trucks, in cars, but most in the vehicles not moving anywhere.
I heard it was absolutely terrible.
So I'm like, all right, plan B. Plan B, I'll just go over to Tailgaters, and I'll start wolfing down some beers. I know one of the bartenders over there. She's a really good girl. I've known her forever. And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's 12:30 now, 12:45. The Uber will go down right around last call. So, sure
even former Mayor Lenny Curry was complaining about it. Traffic hasn't moved leaving the stadium for 30 minutes, zero movement.
No.
There's an operational government problem, solve it.
Jacksonville cannot handle a big bulk of traffic downtown. They just can't. And I don't know. I've said it time and again. I mean, I stopped going that way forever. I take Emerson now because it's such a beautiful drive. Emerson is only second to Phillips Highway. But I now take that way in, and that can get congested. But, back in the day, I would just barrel down 95 and go over the Main Street Bridge. And I'm telling you, man, in like years before I was a sideline reporter, because I was a sideline reporter, I was there, basically before anyone else or when the early arrivers were getting, because I get there, several hours before kick. In the years before I was a sideline reporter, I 1 o'clock game, maybe, I get up at 11, get out of there 11:30.
Wow.
Well, I didn't have a responsibility then.
I didn't think you could get there in time.
My responsibility was to watch the game and then go to the press conference in the locker room after the game. So, I wasn't pregame tailgating. I'm a professional. I'm not going to booze and go.
And you had a parking spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Great parking spot. Lot J. I want to tell you, man, there'd be times to be like 12:15, 12:20, and I'm heading up, and it's the main street, and all of a sudden you'd hear brakes, and you'd look, and the bridge would open. And I'm like, all right, I understand. They built this bridge way back when. You got to open it. You got to let the boat go by. Boats, whole bunch of boats. I'm like, it's a boat caravan coming in, man. There's hundreds, there's thousands. And
An armada, as they say.
All of a sudden I look out. It's like some old sailor, like an 85-year-old sailor.
One boat.
With his 80-year-old bride, and it's one tiny sail, that's coming. It's inching by it. Like, the guy totally, is... he's like the greatest boater of all time. He's involved in every single rule and
safety
regulation.
First. Yeah.
He's not 1/2 mile
going
per hour
over the speed limit.
This guy's going 5 miles an hour, and everyone's going absolutely crazy. And you're thinking, all right, well, the Titanic's going by, right? No, it's the 85-year-old out with his 83-year-old bride, and they're on a 12-foot sailboat, but they got that high spear with the sail that may connect to the bottom of the Main Street Bridge. So we're going to have to raise it. And that used to absolutely drive me nuts. And I know it would drive other people nuts as well. And wouldn't it be a little bit easier to have a guy out there with like one of those big megaphones saying, excuse me, sir, you're not allowed to go across the bridge until after 1 p.m., until after kickoff. But anyway, I don't know how people get those jobs. Getting a whole bunch of good stuff coming in now. A lot of sarcastic stuff, which I can appreciate. But anyway, let's take a break. 641-1010 on our text line. That's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures.
If you can't get enough Jags on game day, get more on the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter from Players Grill Miramar. Brought to you by Osteen Volvo and Volkswagen and Dr. George Bari and Bari Orthopedics. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day.
Looking for the perfect stocking stuffer? How about the Blue Crab Crab House? Right now, buy a $50 gift card, you get $15 free. $50 gives you an additional $15. Also sign up. The private dining room is available for you. Call them 260-CRAB for all the details. Tuesday through Saturday, 4:30 to 9, Sunday noon to 9, only at the Blue Crab Crab House right off of San Jose, Jointon Creek Road.
If you're looking for exterior solutions that provide you reliability and durability, it's time to call Armor Guard Exteriors. Whether you need seamless gutters or gutter protection, hurricane products, impact windows, glass lanais, or retractable awnings and screens, we've got you covered. Call My Home Team today for your 5-star experience at 904-906-8669.
Armor Guard Exteriors, committed to quality, and that's a promise.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house, and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact. So your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal Housing Lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
One of college football's most storied programs.
Florida State fights for their 4th undefeated season. I'm RJ Saunders. Listen for news and nuggets in the Seminole Report as they gear up for Georgia in the Orange Bowl.
Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Folks, the First Coast has voted. Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is proud to be chosen as Bold City's best in 4 categories: Best Orthopedic Practice, Physical Therapy, Pain Management, and Foot Care Clinic. For the last 30 years, JOI has continually strived for the highest level of orthopedic surgery and rehab care. As the needs of the community evolve, so will they. That's why coaches, parents, and athletes choose JOI. Call them at JOI 2000 or visit JOI.net. JOI, where the pros go.
Hey, so where do we tee off?
Tee it high and let it fly.
He's got a beautiful backswing. Oh, he got all of that one.
Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. Cut a few strokes off your game Saturday mornings at 10 with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour on 1010XL.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Are you trying to sell your home here around the holidays and you think you may have problems? Can I just send you forward, spoiler alert? Call Chad and Sandy today or go to chadandsandy.com, 904-414-6200. Why do I skip ahead? Because any problem you think you have, they have the promise and a solution. It's pretty simple. Doesn't this about cover it for you? They will sell your home, Chad and Sandy, at a price that you agree upon, or they will buy it. That's right. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a lowball instant offer. Well, that promise takes care of that, doesn't it? Just listen to Tanya from Magnolia Glen. I had moved out of state to South Carolina. I was desperate. Not one, but 2 realtors failed to sell my home in 160 days. Chad and Sandy sold it in 5 days. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 904-414-6200. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Salvatore's Pizza coming to Jacksonville. Salvatores.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, again, I made JJ and I made it. Getting just a lot on Florida to say. They say timing is everything, right? And the announcement came out around noon on Sunday. Of course, ESPN milked it, so I think we got it around 12:25 or something. But as things would be, Jacksonville gets his first Monday Night Football game in 12 years. So I do not have that opportunity to respond on Monday. Tonight is Helmets and Heels. It's the only night of the week that I come on at 8 o'clock. The rest of the week, I am on 6 to 8. Trevor Lawrence goes down. Jaguars lose a huge game. Driving home last night, or if you sat at home and watched it and went to bed, so many of you were wondering, is that it? Is the season over? Is Trevor Lawrence gone? This is an NFL city. We are the home of the Jaguars. Every Monday is Jaguars first. That's what you want. I recognize that it's also a huge college football town. But the Jaguars, to me, are number one. And that is the premier story. This is my first chance to talk. It's Jaguars. If the Jaguars had won going away, it still would have been the premier story. Florida State being hosed is a huge story. But I've pushed it back. We're going to do it tomorrow night, right out of the gate at 6. And the only thing that I'll share with you right now is I think you're going to hear, it's going to be fun because there's going to be, people enjoy misery. People enjoy others who are down. So there's going to be a whole bunch of, oh my gosh, man, it's Wednesday and you're still complaining about this. Not knowing what I just explained about Monday and Tuesday. That's fine. I can handle that. I've got a whole hell of a lot to say about what happened, but I want to do it at the right time. And the right time for me is tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. We're going to begin with that. And again, I think that you'll find that I have some things to say that you haven't heard really anywhere else. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. It's just I know some things back in Tallahassee that have been protected, that have been swept under the rug. And to some extent, I get it. I get why the local media wouldn't get after it. I understand it, okay? It's different. I just commented last hour about Doug Peterson and bringing up the crowd, making too much noise when they were on defense. I can't believe he did that. I'm a big fan of Doug Peterson, but I can't believe that came out of his mouth. Even though he kind of defended it, it was still bizarre. You're not going to get people in Tallahassee would never say anything like that about a coach, a mistake or call him out. It's always going to be pro. It's always going to be good. No one's ever going to say, well, Mike Norvell, if you had your guys ready for North Alabama, you wouldn't have had to have used Jordan Travis to try to pick up a first down 13-0 in a game in which he ruined his ankle, and it ended up costing Florida State this. You think anyone over there is ever going to say that? No. They're not going to say that. And I understand. JJ and I talked about it last hour. Freak injuries seem to happen against opponents like that. Okay? That's the way things typically go. But, the other side of that can be if you went out there and took care of business the way that you're supposed to, you wouldn't have had to have run him. As a matter of fact, you hopefully would have had him on the bench, and you would have seen Tate Rodemaker for a quarter, and you would have seen Brock Glenn for a quarter. And that's just a little part of it. And it's not a Florida State bashing. I don't want you to, there's so many people to blame here. But Florida State's culpable. There's some things that they did to set themselves up. Leadership has always been a problem over there. It has. And my gosh, man, who in the hell threatens to leave when you don't have a place to go? Whether that's personal or professional, who does that? If you're a disgruntled lady out there right now and you're like, that's it, I've had it with my husband, you're my fourth one, and I thought you'd be better, that's it, I'm out of here. I hope you got a place to go. I hope you got another man. I hope you got a nice home. You don't get up and leave if you don't have a place to go. Florida State threatened the ACC. Florida State said, we're better than you. Florida State proved themselves right. But it's their own fault for airing this with their board of trustees. They should have held it private. If it leaked, it leaked. At least you wouldn't be quoted the way that Drew Weatherford and others were. So, a lot of it's on them. Paul Feinbaum was right when he said, no one in athletics likes Florida State. He was right. And I think it hurt him as well. But I'm going to save all that for tomorrow night. That's coming up at 6 o'clock.
Wherever you go, we go.
Those are the rules. I didn't make them up.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices to listen anywhere in the world.
It may be the key to the whole plan. Get it?
Got it.
Good.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are attempting to sell 2,000 vehicles this December. How? I've instructed my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. We have thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground and priced to sell. We guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. At Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, we're here to wow you.
Are you ready for the ultimate happy hour experience? Look no further than Bellwether, downtown's undisputed champion of good times. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7 p, with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 a.m. Rally the team and head over to Bellwether. The vibe is full and the food is unbeatable. Free parking after 6 p on weekdays and all weekend. Bellwether Restaurant, where great food and the best happy hour in town come together for an epic win.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time homebuyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time homebuyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time homebuyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Hey, it's Carline here for QC Kinetics. Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year you are getting back to living normal life again. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. 2 great locations, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Give them a call at 904-274-5522. Again, 274-5522. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These are all natural treatments that can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement again. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country. People who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who were able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Again, Mandarin and Panavidra. Give them a call, 904-274-5522. That's QC Kinetics, 274-5522.
You're busy, so 1010XL makes holiday gift giving easy. Find great gift ideas from Bellwether Restaurant, Beard's Diamonds, and Brackish Vodka. Get lots of great gift ideas at 1010XL.com.
Men, suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Golfers, when's the last time you played Cimarron? New ownership, improved greens, fairways, and tee boxes, a new clubhouse, interior, exterior, including the Stone and Barrel Tap House, indoor-outdoor bar, live music. Practice, learn, and play program is only $59 a month. Unlimited range balls, weekly clinic from teaching professionals. Golf every day, $25 after 2 o'clock. Whether you scratch or just like getting out with your buddies, you have to try the new Cimarron Golf Club on 210.
Hey, Jags fans, are you tired of roof leaks raining on your parade? Don't worry, Universal Roof and Contracting has got you covered. Their expert team of roofers will get your roof back in the game so you can focus on cheering on the Jags. Locally owned and operated, they've serviced Florida homeowners for over 30 years. Visit universalroof.com to schedule your free estimate today. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
All right, my takeaway is pretty simple. It's a football team right now in this great city that is beaten up. But it could be a whole heck of a lot worse. We did not hear of any season-ending injuries. It appears that the worst is Christian Kirk with the core. Okay, reportedly he will have surgery. I would think out for the remainder of the regular season. Is he back in January? I think there's a really good chance of that. Again, I have no idea. It's much more than pain tolerance. It's about doing your job to the best of your ability. Can you do it effectively? Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson had an awful lot to say about him today. It's better today than it was when he went down last night. And how long is he out? Only time will tell. But this thing could have been really, really bad. Have the priorities changed? Maybe. I mean, last night if you won, you had a chance to hold on to that top seed in the AFC. It's not murderer's row. You got a real hard game at Cleveland and a real hard game here with with Baltimore. I think the other three are incredibly winnable, including late in the year at Tennessee. They played hard last Sunday. I don't know if they'll continuously play hard once they get knocked out. So, yes, it's not great, but it could be a lot worse.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping the sports world spinning with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
All right, Hacker Nation is here. I did not get to hear your thoughts last night. I'll tell you this. All my years as a sideline reporter, I can never think of a game where more guys went down than for Jacksonville last night.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, you wait 12 years for Monday Night Football, and that's what you get. The injuries, the horrific defensive performance. I mean, it was a football disaster. But like you said, I think now that the waters have calmed a little bit, it doesn't look as bad right now. And if you take it in totality, and this is going to be my message tonight, there's 5 games left. The number 1 seed's probably out of play, but honestly, Rick, I mean, yeah, the bye week is the most important thing there. This team is terrible at home. They're terrible. They're 6-0 outside of Everbank Stadium. They're 2-4 inside. Home field advantage for the Jaguars means nothing. So I'm not even worried about losing home games in the playoffs. I would want that bye. That's why I want the 1 seed. But it's simple. Go 3-2 in your next 5.
Yeah.
If you go 3-2 in your next 5, and the big one's Tennessee at the end of the year, have one of those 3 be a win in Nashville, you would then force Houston or Indy to run the table. They would have to go 5-0, and considering they play each other week 18, one of them cannot do that. So if you simply go 3-2, take your chances with either Houston or Indy having to go 5-0.
Yeah, and that makes total sense, and I think they'll be able to do that. I mean, that game at the end of the year at Tennessee, who knows what's going on with the Titans by then? Who knows what they're doing? I mean, they played hard 2 days ago, but just not able to get it done. All of a sudden, the Colts and the Texans really playing some good football. I haven't examined the Colts and Texans' next 5 opponents the way I obviously have Jacksonville, but I think with C.J. Beathard, if he was to play all 5 of those games, I think my guess would be 3-2. Could be a 4-1. My guess would be 3-2. Now, they could end up being 2-3. Who knows? But, yeah, that's the tough part of it is you did have that first-round bye in line last night. I think that goes away. All of a sudden, you're a game behind Miami and a game behind Baltimore.
Yeah, you control your own destiny when it comes to Baltimore, but I got news for you. If they play last night, like against Baltimore, like they did last night, they don't have a prayer of beating Baltimore. That's la-la land. I looked at Houston's schedule. It's a weird thing. They still play the Titans twice. They have 2 against Tennessee. They go to Indy, and then they have the Jets this week, and they have Cleveland. So a lot of the same games, right? So it's just interesting the way it worked out. Indianapolis has a little bit of a tougher slate, but again, that Indy-Houston game, Week 18, could be potentially for the final wild card spot in the division. And right now, if the playoffs started right now as the 4 seed, the Jaguars would be hosting Pittsburgh. That's not a bad deal.
How about this? I just looked up Indy. Their next 4 opponents have all changed quarterbacks.
Oh, is that right?
At Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, at Atlanta, Las Vegas.
That's interesting. And that's the NFL. You go from Cincinnati just beating you to a drum last night to now Jaguar fans are going to turn around in 5 days and be Bengal fans.
It's nuts.
Because Indianapolis goes in there.
Yeah, 3 straight against the AFC North, but Jake Browning looked really impressive.
Oh, he was impressive, and the defense was just terrible.
Yeah.
Just terrible. It was embarrassing last night.
And it's, I made a huge point. I was screaming about it last week. I was like, for the last 28 games, Jacksonville has averaged giving up 20.5 points. They gave up 20.6 through the course of the entire 2022 season and 20.5 through the first 11 games of this year. So I made the point. You know that the defense is going to give up 20.5 points. If you could score 21 points, you win. I was dead wrong.
Well, no, I mean, a lot of people were wrong because a lot of people didn't see that defensive effort. I said this on the 5th quarter. When a team shows you who they are, believe them. The Jaguars have shown us they're good. They're not elite. They've had 3 chances at home in showcase games, Kansas City, San Francisco, and last night against Cincinnati, to make statements, and they've gotten embarrassed in 2 of those games, and the offense didn't score a touchdown in the 3rd game against Kansas City. They're good. They're not elite. So all this talk about with Baltimore and Miami and KC, put that to bed right now and just focus on getting into the playoffs.
All right, what else is coming up?
Obviously, a lot of that. Usually Dave Campo on Monday night. We'll have him tonight to recap that loss last evening. We'll have Brent Beard to talk a little college ball. I know a lot of Florida State fans are still reeling. And we have 3 high school teams in the area that are playing for state championships in Tallahassee beginning Thursday afternoon. We'll have 2 of those head coaches, St. Augustine and Bradford County, coming up tonight.
All right, Hack, have a lot of fun.
Thanks, Rick.
It's coming up right now. Thank you to all of you tonight. Good stuff. I don't check the text line now that the show is over. We will get to it tomorrow. You can get me right now on Twitter. Again, I'm going to have everything on this Florida State rage. And a lot of different ways to look at it. A lot of different facts, perhaps conspiracy, whatever. But I've sat on it because of the Jaguars. I'm going to get after it beginning tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. I hope you're here for it. For JJ LaSalva, I am Rick Ballou. Have a great Tuesday night.
He was one of the nicest guys in football. Now he's one of the nicest guys on 1010XL. Catch David Garrard Mondays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. On
1010XL.
Brought to you by your local Napa Auto Care Centers.
Just like those little holiday snow globes, you better get ready to shake up the season because Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, get financing as low as 2.99% on 10 new Toyota models. And Arlington has more than 500 new Toyotas available. Plus, every new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. Toyota